Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our Women in Racing LinkedIn Masterclass. For those of you that don't know me, I am Cheryl Caves. I'm the mentoring lead for Women in Racing, and I'm just going to give the introduction today before handing over to Tom. So we've only got an hour today, so we're going to keep this quite brief. Just a couple of things for you to bear in mind. We are recording this webinar, so if you have to leave at any stage and come back later, you will be able to access it. And there will be a chance at the end of the session to ask any questions that you may have. So do use the chat facility whilst this is ongoing, and we will try and get through as many questions as possible as we can at the end. Just on a couple of other Women in Racing matters, I'd just like to flag up for you all. We have some other upcoming events in the next few months. The first one being the Women in Racing Summit at York Racecourse, that's sponsored by Tattersall's and RWK Goodman on the 14th of May. Tickets for this are on sale now, and there is an early bird discount that is running until next Monday for you to secure your tickets. We have also announced the panel that will be appearing at this event now, and we will feature Lisa O'Keefe, the Secretary for the International Working Group on Women and Girls in Sport, broadcaster Rishi Prasad, Julia Tyson, Chair of the Horse Racing Industry People Board, and flat jockey Joanna Mason. So we're really looking forward to that, and we'd hope to welcome as many of you as possible to attend. We also have on the 23rd of May a Women in Racing behind the scenes race day at Haydock Park, where the feature race will be the Women in Racing British EBF Cecil Frail Stakes, which has been kindly gifted to us by the trustees of the British EBF. The day will feature behind the scenes tour of the weighing room and general race day operations, and there will be use of a box for networking and as a base during the day. So again, we'd love to welcome you all along to that. And our other event that is coming up is on the 13th of June in Newmarket. We're having a networking event. We're finalising all the details for this at the moment, but it will include a private visit to Godolphin's retraining and rehoming yard. So any of you that are interested in that aspect of the industry, again, we would love to welcome you along. I should point out that Women in Racing members do get discounted tickets to all of these events, as well as access to our integral parts of the Women in Racing programme, including the mentoring and the bursary. So I would encourage you that are not, those of you that are not already members, to sign up. So finally, before I hand over to Tom, I just say we're hoping to put on more events like this in the future. It's become quite obvious that looking at opportunities for personal development and career progression are something that's really important to our membership. And we've had a lot of interest in today's webinar. So there will be a feedback survey at the conclusion of this webinar. So we'd be really grateful if you could just take 5 minutes to complete that and give us your feedback on how the event has gone and any suggestions you might have on other areas that we can explore and that we can look at to help our members. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Tom, who's taking today's session. Tom is the head of talent at the Jockey Club, and he's going to be sharing with us all his tips and advice on how to make the best of your LinkedIn profile. And as I said, we'll go over any questions you may have in the last 10 or 15 minutes of the session. So with that, I will mute myself and switch off my video and hand over to you, Tom.
Hi everyone, I hope everyone can hear me okay. Do let me know if any problems at all, Lucy or Cheryl, but very honoured to have been invited by Cheryl to share my insights on LinkedIn. So I'm Tom Bloomfield. I am the talent manager at the Jockey Club. So I lead on all recruitment activity for the Jockey Club across our 15 race courses, racing welfare, the National Stud and Jockey Club estates. And I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn, so I'm hoping I can share some perspectives in my role that really help and support. So what I'm aiming to cover today, I'm aiming to understand the benefits of using LinkedIn, why it matters. Hopefully I can equip you to have an awesome LinkedIn profile. Show you how to grow your career by using LinkedIn. Know the role that you play in contributing to your own personal brand and why that's really important. And hopefully you will feel equipped to authentically stand out to potential employers. So I'm going to jump straight in around LinkedIn and what are the benefits? Why is it really important? Your LinkedIn presence or lack of it can dramatically affect your career journey. It's a really powerful networking, branding, and job discovery tool. Recruiters actively search for candidates on LinkedIn using things such as keywords that are within your jobs, specific filters, and job titles. Recruiters spend a lot of time here. So over 90% of people who have jobs like me, so recruitment managers, talent acquisition managers, HR professionals, use LinkedIn to find and assess candidates' suitability for roles. It also gains you access to the hidden job market. So many roles are actually never posted publicly. And by using LinkedIn, you can find those roles through connections and visibility. And your personal brand is like a job magnet. A great profile and active presence can really attract opportunities that you're looking for. So some tips on using LinkedIn to help your career journey. So be active by maintaining an active LinkedIn profile. You show that you're engaged and in tune with your professional landscape, industry specific or not. It allows you to build that strong personal brand. So an active profile that's sharing insights, liking content, contributing comments, really builds a strong personal brand, and it's really easy to do it. You can engage with potential employers. And so by actively participating in those discussions, responding to inquiries, and sharing content, you foster meaningful connections. By being proactive on LinkedIn, you can really set yourself apart from the crowd. So I'm going to share some benefits of LinkedIn. So networking is a huge piece of LinkedIn. And as you can see here, 2 new members actually join every second. You can connect with professionals across multiple industries, and as colleagues to leaders. It really allows you to expand your network. Career growth. So nearly all jobs are now posted on LinkedIn. This is where you discover job opportunities. You can showcase your expertise. So people are looking at your profile. Share your achievements, your skills, your certifications when you're volunteering, anything you're doing to really help you establish credibility and stand out. And then industry insight is a really great place to have your finger on the pulse, and you can really get great news feed about what's going on in the world here. You can stay updated on trends, join relevant groups, and engage with content from industry experts. And then you have personal branding by creating a really professional profile that really highlights what your unique strengths are, your experiences, your expertise, and your value. You're bringing your brand to life to a whole different audience. There's now over 40 million users in the UK and 1 billion worldwide, so it's a really important site. When I was thinking about how we use LinkedIn here at the Jockey Club, it's a really key source for us for recruitment. It's the absolute #1 place that a candidate is likely to engage with us, and it's a higher source of candidates come via LinkedIn. I conducted a bit of a search actually around our race courses before this call, with some general roles that we have vacancies within our sort of locations, our 15 different race courses. And just with these roles here, I was able to demonstrate how many people with the kind of skills that we would look for using a recruiter search live within a very close distance of our race courses. Now, of course, you can see sort of the bigger towns, bigger cities like Aintree or Nottingham, a really high volume of people who live nearby that are looking for roles. But even in our smaller locations, such as Wincanton or Carlisle, there's a huge talent pool that are living close to our racecourses. So the competition can be fierce. The great thing is that having a LinkedIn profile is really easy. It's the first step to really engaging on LinkedIn. It's your front cover, your shop window. It's the area people are going to look at when considering whether to interact with you. And it is super easy. A LinkedIn profile is a LinkedIn members page where they have a picture, careers goals. It's where they really highlight all of their accomplishments. In other words, it's a bit like a business card or your own personal website, but with a social media twist. LinkedIn calls the profile a professional landing page because it's the first impression that people have of you on the platform. This is actually often the first real impression they have because it introduces a lot of people. LinkedIn introduces a lot of people who've never met in person. Updating your profile, make sure that it accurately reflects your professional life and your objectives. So I'm going to walk you through my own, not because I'm an egomaniac, but just because it's easier to walk through my own profile and give you some tips on how you can really stand out. So photos are really important. Profiles with pictures are 21 times more likely to be viewed. Doesn't need to be a professional headshot. Mine isn't. Just choose a pic that best represents you, one that's friendly and approachable, with a non-distracting background. Definitely need to update mine with my long hair now. It really helps introduce yourself, especially in an era where there are fewer in-person meetings than ever. Therefore, a nice profile picture also helps people recognize you when you do meet in person or an event. Always use a fully focused photo, and it needs to be a close-up shot. This isn't where you use special effects or a blurry picture from Instagram. Remember, your LinkedIn profile picture is part of what provides that really strong first impression. The background image, the banner. So this is the picture or the graphic that's at the top of somebody's profile. And it's a great opportunity to make a splash. I've always loved this photo of highlighting what it is we do. You can showcase a bit of personality or your profession. Generally, I recommend something that promotes a professional accomplishment or other parts of your online presence. So your headline, this is essentially your personal brand, which I've referenced already. You can just list your job title, but truly, does that really get to the impact of your ability? Your headline is a single most important factor to making a really strong first impression. So try to make it quick, make it catchy, make it you. A great headline is one of the most important elements of a great profile. One reason for this importance is that the headline gets shown really easily within a LinkedIn search engine. So that's how recruiters will find you. Technically speaking, it can be difficult to write. You only have 120 characters, so you need to say it quickly. Just be sure to try and include some industry related keywords, skills, and interests. I've really tried to, within mine, encapsulate what it is I really lead here at the Jockey Club, and essentially what we do is get enhanced racing. Underneath, you can also have some links. So I've obviously got our careers page, which really services me in my role. But this is a great place to share a portfolio or a piece of work that you're really proud of, a website, images. You can just link it here, and people who are interested in you as a candidate can access that really easily. I'm going to share a great example here of someone I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with. In Josh Apiafi, really clear what he does here, really concise but really impactful, and just a really great profile where he's really shouted out what it is that he does and what his career is about. So the next part is your summary. So this is your chance to really showcase your personal brand, who you are, what you do, and why that matters. Take all the time that you need to nail it. I would really recommend here using the first person. Really showcase your personality. Generic summaries don't show people who you are, what you bring to the table, and how passionate you are about your job. And these are essential ingredients to gaining trust. Use your summary to list your goals, passions, and accomplishments. In other words, tell people who you are and what it is that you do. Summaries can feel tricky because you need to say a lot, and everything you say can do a lot towards getting the results that you want. To do this, talk about your background, talk about your accomplishments, and weave a short story detailing your career or education trajectory. The idea is to give your readers a view into who you are and why you're important. Some things to consider, just make it about you. Use keywords within your professional background. This is how managers will find you the easiest. Tell your story, and again, write in first person. So coming to the experience section, your experience section should be well crafted and precise. One challenge some professionals face is the generic job title, which often doesn't tell casual observers exactly what it is a person does. I know mine, for instance, I often get inquiries about DJs or something that I have no impact on whatsoever. But it's really fine to list what your technical job title is, but within your experience, really clarify what it is you do within your role or your education trajectory. Doesn't need to be a complete job list. Just showcase what the essence is of your role. Skills, and I'm going to jump into another example here of the lovely Jo Francis, who I work with here at the Jockey Club, who again has a really strong profile. I'm going to jump down to some of his skills here. And this is a great, skills and endorsements are really great tools to differentiate yourself from other professionals. Specifically, skills are keywords that other professionals might look for in a search. So this is what I was talking about earlier, where a recruiter might very much need someone who has experience or skills in strategic planning, and they can search for it in that way. Endorsements, and you can see here I've endorsed Jo. I've worked with Jo closely. They're a social proof, really, that vouch for someone's abilities. This is someone who I've worked with, and I can say, hey, Jo's great at strategic planning. He's really great at financial modeling. And this is really easy to do. You can ask people within your network or who you've worked with directly just to endorse you if they feel that you have those skills. And then finally, interests are a really important one as well. I think it's a great way of keeping your finger on the pulse of what's going on in your industry, in the world. And it demonstrates your professional interest. And you can follow top voices, which is sort of a cluster of people that LinkedIn have of top voices when they interact on LinkedIn, gets really high sort of return. Companies is a really important one. So different businesses you might be interested in, groups they might be a part of, and newsletters and schools also. It never really rings true to me if a candidate says they're talking to me about their dream job, and when I view their LinkedIn profile, they haven't followed us or followed any industry specific, not necessarily racing, but it could be conference and events, for example. It never really rings true. So these are the types of things that someone like me will look at. Just gonna go back in. So some great profiles here, and I've obviously already talked about Josh and some people that are in the industry or in sports. And what really stands out for me about these particular ones is that really great summaries, great headlines, fantastic photos. They say exactly what their skills are, and just really strong profiles to engage with, really. I'm sure you're familiar with some of these profiles. The next ones we're going to talk about keywords, searchability, and networking. So your profile really needs to speak the same language as job descriptions to show up in recruiter searches. It's how recruiters will find you and how people engage with LinkedIn. So some tips. Keyword strategy. So the really easy place to find out what sort of keywords should be in your profile are the jobs you're applying for. All of the job adverts and job descriptions will have those keywords within them. So whether that might be for a marketing executive, it might be CRM, or for a finance professional, it might be accounting. You can really pull your keywords from job descriptions that you're interested in to make sure that you're showing up in recruiter searches. Think about where you place them. So try to place them strategically throughout your profile. So within your headline, your about section, experience, skills, again, really helping you to show up in the right place. Recruiters use something called a Boolean search. So make sure that those keywords are findable within your profile. From a job seeking perspective, LinkedIn has a whole host of tools that can really support your job search. There's a jobs tab where you can really filter by the sort of job titles that you're interested in, the industries, locations, experience level, and much more. Easy apply. Easy apply is really convenient. And when you see a job, you can click one button, maybe two, to apply to a job, which is really convenient. But if it's a job you're really interested in, I would follow that application and look to apply directly on a career site. It just shows that willing and hunger for that role. If it's a job role that you're really interested in, I would definitely recommend that. You can set job alerts and really customize those as well. So it might be a certain company you're really interested in working for, or certain job roles, and LinkedIn really gives you that impact to do that. And again, using company pages, follow your target employers, people you really want to work for, engage with their content, and look to grow your connections. Talking about networking, so building your network really does matter, but it's much more about the quality of your connections than just quantity. Think about who you want to connect with: recruiters, talent acquisition, HR professionals, the hiring managers. Again, the job description, job adverts will really highlight who the hiring manager is. So, I'll often say things like reporting into the finance manager or marketing manager, and they're very findable via LinkedIn. Think about how you connect. If you're connecting with someone, use short, tailored messages when you're sending connection requests. And then engaging after connecting. If you connect with someone, engage with their content, comment on their posts, follow up with thoughtful questions, and look to build relationships. I know I've talked about LinkedIn recruiter search a lot, so I'm just going to demonstrate it for you guys a little bit in terms of what it looks like on the other end, lifting the curtain. So this is LinkedIn Recruiter, which most companies will have. And I'm just going to share how that works. So it sort of serves as a Google search engine almost, specifically for recruiters. I've done a little pre-populating in here for a search. So we would have a role, for example, and we would have the job title, and you can enter various job titles within here, locations, and you can just start to filter search. As you can see, I've done a marketing executive here in London. As you can see, that's a really big pool. There's 45,000 people who have that job title or have had that job title previously. But what LinkedIn Recruiter Search allows you to do is really filter that. So you can start to whittle down what it is that you're looking for. So I might want someone who currently holds a job title such as this that lives in London. And you will see that starts to filter down the numbers of what we would have. You can add in skills and assessments, you can add in companies, you can really go into filter. And you'll notice here at the top of the page, there's some filters of people, spotlights of people LinkedIn think you might be interested in. So obviously people who are open to work are someone we're more likely to be engaged if we were to approach them about a vacancy. Active talent, again, these are people who are regularly using LinkedIn, people we've looked at before, internal candidates, and additionally, it does show you people who confirmed that they would be interested in any roles come available for you. And then we might say, actually, we want someone who's got a real interest in racing. For example, just throw in a keyword such as that. and you'll see that filters considerably down to people who are open to work, active talent, etc. So yeah, just wanted to lift the curtain on that a little bit. Very happy to take questions after that on any questions you might have there. I'm just thinking about engaging with content effectively. So firstly, polish up your profile. I'm hoping you put it quick now to really go in and support your profile. Use today's tips to ensure that your profile is up to date and make that great first impression. Show genuine passion. Use your posts to showcase your enthusiasm, what it is that you do, your interests and any accomplishments. Try to share useful content, publish and post interesting content that will really engage your network. And probably most importantly, actually, be authentic. Don't pretend to be something that you're not. Let your personality shine through. I think it can feel quite daunting using LinkedIn for the first time and trying to use it in this way. But what I would say is building a routine is a real key to success there. And consistency will matter more than perfection. So try to just get yourself into a really simple routine. So it might be connecting with one or two people a day or commenting on 2 to 3 posts a week, or maybe even tweaking your profile slightly every month. This can really support you to build a routine. And that is it for me, Cheryl, Lucy. So I'm very happy to open up the floor for any questions.
Brilliant. Thank you. That's incredibly helpful. I hope everyone's found that helpful. I found that fascinating. There's definitely things I'm going to take away and start polishing up my own LinkedIn profile. So we've got one question here that's coming at the top. It says, could you please advise how to go about it when you've had different kinds of roles? Would you recommend creating 2 different profiles, or would you combine it into one?
I would definitely combine it into one. That would be my view. I think you want to be as findable as possible, and having a second profile just makes it splits the field a little bit more, I would say. I think having additional skills, and it's hard to gauge what those 2 types of different roles. But if you've got an extra, I don't know, if you're a finance professional and you've actually done a bit of HR, that's an amazing thing for a recruiter to find, for example. So seeing additional skills that you might not expect in an application or in people that are interested in a role, I would say is definitely a bonus. So my view would definitely be to have one profile.
Brilliant. And got another question here. When would you recommend upgrading to LinkedIn Premium?
Yeah, it's a hard one, LinkedIn Premium. I mean, I don't have LinkedIn Premium, and I've never. I think there's some. I think it depends on the job roles that you have and the difficulty you find in that market. I think if you are searching for a job and it's crucial for you to get that next job, there's some advantages to LinkedIn. A lot of what you will get though is available for free, and companies such as myself pay LinkedIn a lot of money to make sure that is the case. So I would say LinkedIn Premium. If it's a really tough market for you, there's some additional bells and whistles that LinkedIn offer in that premium package. But it's not something that I think will really move the dial for you too much.
I mean, I would say from my own personal experience that having used LinkedIn Premium in the past for the free trial, they do like to try and tempt you back again with further free trials. So you don't necessarily have to pay for it. So if you use a free trial for a short period and then don't need it again, you will start getting offers from LinkedIn to reactivate for another 30 days or 15 days or things like that. So if you kind of hold out on them, they will start throwing freebies your way if it's something that's important to you.
Absolutely, yeah, I totally agree with that.
Next question. Do you have any recommendations for making a career change and how to highlight transferable skills to get yourself noticed?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think I myself, no, I wouldn't say it was, well, I have been through a career change, but I definitely went through a huge industry change, and the highlight is to understand what the transferable skills are. So, if there's a particular sort of function or area that you're looking to transfer either over into, really try and understand what the synergy is between your current role and the new role. And it often is quite a lot, whether that's strategic planning or, being organized, planned for, it could be all different types of things for different industries. I just really try to understand what the transferable skills are and really call that out in your about section or your profile. I see great profiles that say things such as um, equine, passionate about horse racing, looking for my first role in marketing. That's a really great, powerful way of making an impact on someone like me is looking for that.
Right. For those that have their own businesses, have you got any tips on how to promote their company pages and gain more followers and connections?
Yeah, definitely. Just employee-based content. That is the most powerful thing, definitely. And we see our most engaging content. The things that we share is through the stories of our people, not when we share what financial results or something like that. That's not when we get huge engagement. It's around actually, you know, this is what's happening at Carlisle Racecourse, and congratulations to Steve, who's been here at 15 years as a ground person. Here's his story. That sort of, I think, really engaging with content, employee generated content. And the great thing about that is it's all free as well. It's the people you work with, and whether that's a day in the office, there's just so much that you can do. It's just so much more engaging than something really corporate, in my view.
Do recruiters appreciate cold connection requests, and do you get a lot of these?
Yeah, it's a challenge because I know I've advised that in terms of do recruiters appreciate cold connection requests? I would say yes, but I also wouldn't take offense if you don't hear back as well. I think from it's likely, and I can't check while I'm on this call, but it's likely I've had two or three messages on LinkedIn since I've been on this call. Um, I would say most of them are from businesses trying to sell stuff rather than candidates. And that's where I'd say there is, you could easily get a candidate could get missed through the gap. Where it really shows up strongly is if you have an application, if you've applied for a role and then you followed up with a connection request, that starts to really build that network and have that relationship. But yes, of course, there's lots of messages I get on LinkedIn.
In a similar vein, as you mentioned about advertising things, is there a way to limit unwanted sales approaches from other businesses or people?
Yeah, I mean, you can put it in your profile, not open to cold calling and not open to cold requests, then you can put that, definitely. It is a social network, so, a lot of people, and I certainly get way, way more messages looking to sell me things than I do from candidates. Um, so yeah, I mean, you can put things within your profile, but there's not an actual filter that I'm aware of anyway, where you can actually stop people trying to sell you stuff.
Next question. Often roles within other sports or sports marketing agencies are not interested in candidates from horse racing. Is it because racing is so out on its own, and how do we become more relevant?
Wow. That's a great question, I think. I think in my experience of working in sports, we're looking to by what horse racing is about. And I think we're working really closely in connection with different sports, different agencies as well to share best practices, share efficiencies. There's lots I'm doing around inclusive hiring at the minute, learning from Murky FC, for example. So I think there's lots and lots of different synergy. Um, I guess I I don't really know the answer to that one, if I'm being honest. I think I think there's lots of when people understand the challenges that you'd have in horse racing that are so similar to other sports, I think they are quite open. And I certainly feel we've had some fantastic sports organisations steal some of our stuff in the not too far away. So yeah, I hope that answers best I can.
What's the best way to turn LinkedIn connections into potential business leads?
I'm probably not as best placed, but I'm on the other side of that. But again, it's really similar. Be authentic, I would say, and when we get a copy and paste or something they've obviously sent to 200 people that morning is not that engaging, I would say. But I get some hilarious and fantastic approaches on LinkedIn that engage me, and I'm interested in their product. And I've certainly been sold stuff on LinkedIn for sure. So I think it's about being authentic and look to be engaging. Try to understand the person who you're approaching, and try to personalize it, not a sensual message.
Okay. How does the open to work banner work on LinkedIn? Is this viewable by everybody?
Two things. So yeah, open to work. You've got two options. If you click the open to work button, you can make it so only people like me can see. So recruiters, so people who hold a recruiter license, and it's also really protected as well. So there's no one within my organisation if they were to share that they were open to work. LinkedIn is fantastic at keeping security. I wouldn't be able to see that from our own organisation. So yeah, it absolutely can be really private and it's only open to people who have a recruiter license, and we'd see it in searches like the LinkedIn recruiter search I shared you. I think the green banner is really stating out there that you're open to work, that you're looking for a role, and that's a little bit different. So you can put that onto your profile photo. You just have to click one button to be able to do that. And that if you are open to a new role and not in employment and you're looking at something that I would highly recommend. It's quite a debate on LinkedIn, I think, on whether, there's quite a debate about whether it's looking too desperate or things like that. I couldn't disagree more with that. I think if you are available and you are open to work, you should really showcase that. And, it just makes that initial conversation really easy for someone like me to know, hey, I know this person is definitely interested in our work. So my view is to definitely share that.
Next question. Some people do not have qualifications, but are nonetheless very experienced and knowledgeable in their field. How best to put this across to a prospective employer?
The skills, absolutely. I don't have many qualifications at all. I would say the skills area of your profile is the absolute best way to showcase this. And the skills are really varied. So, it can be things such as organization or really specific within different industries that you've done within your work for your different roles, and it's just huge. Anything you would have done, you can have a skill on. And again, to really build the confidence of them skills, is that people that you've worked with or been in communication with endorse you for those skills, because that just builds the credibility that you have actually done that.
Right. I know something we talked about at the top before we started the webinar was the use of AI now in
Yeah.
people's LinkedIn profiles. So what are your opinions on that usage and how best people can make it work for themselves?
Yeah, and I think it's important to recognise that they're my opinions, and someone who's holding my role in this very similar company might have very different opinions. But my view on AI is it's here and it's great, and it can help us. We've just set up a new recruitment system, new career site, and it's very much a lot of AI usage in it. But we've got the tagline of powered by AI, perfected by people. So anything we do is always has that people element to it, always gets checked. We might put things like make this a little bit more creative or a little bit more impactful, but always signed off by a person. What I would say is if you're using AI, there's lots and lots of different giveaways that you've used AI, that people will be able to see, especially if you haven't taken that time to perfect the content that you've generated. Things such as using a Z instead of an S, or there's lots of bold type. There's lots of different tells that you can see if you're looking at these every day. So I would just really take that time, use it as a crutch, a support, something that can help you form a really good application or really good message, or whatever it is you're using it for. Um, but put your own input into it. When you don't, it shows.
Yeah, I think somebody said to me, consider AI is helping you get 80% of the way there. But
Yeah.
the remaining 20%, that's got to be you. You've got to proofread. You've got to make sure it's actually not just full of buzzwords, that you're actually putting some personality into it at
Exactly,
the
and
same time.
there's loads of small bits like it's little things like for some reason when you copy it over from ChatGPT in particular, it comes over as Times New Roman font, which is unusual. That's a huge tell, and you can see that really instantly. So again, I have no issue with people using AI, but I just want to see some input from them.
Yeah.
So that's my view and our view here.
Sure. And I just had a comment as well regarding AI saying you also need to make sure that if you are using AI in recruitment as an employer, that your GDPR policy has covered it. So that is just something for people
Absolutely,
to
yeah,
bear
we
in
have,
mind.
and we do not make any decisions, any hiring decisions using AI at all. Every single decision, from shortlisting, interviewing, every aspect of the recruitment process is by a person. Where we might use AI is making a job advert a little bit more impactful.
Yeah. Right. I think we've managed to burn through all of the questions. I'd say is that if anybody else does have a question they want to ask, if you drop it in the next few minutes, then obviously we'll make sure we get through that. But I don't know, Tom, if any of those questions have sparked any other thing as you've gone along that you feel you might want to cover.
No, just listen, delighted to have been invited to do this today. Very happy for anyone on the call to connect with me and follow up afterwards. Yeah, I hope it's been helpful.
From our perspective, it's been incredibly helpful, and we're looking forward to doing more things like this as well, maybe making it a little bit more exclusive, smaller groups so people can talk in confidence about their own individual profiles and also just anything else relating to career development. So, as I said at the top, there will be a survey at the end of this webinar, which there's no more questions coming in at the moment. So we'll probably look to close up. Something just popped in. I'll read that out in a second. Yeah, there'll be a survey at the end. So please, any feedback you've got on how this is run, on any other topics away from LinkedIn that you'd like us to cover, then we can absolutely investigate that and look at putting things on. And yeah, we hope it's been helpful. So just these other questions that popped in saying, I'd like to use LinkedIn to promote my business. Is it possible to do this without having to develop my personal profile?
Yeah, definitely. You can have a company page and you can take ownership of that. Again, I think having um, some personal profiles on there just gives it that authenticity. But you can absolutely have a company page. We have a company page, most companies do, and you can take ownership of that. It's fairly straightforward, engaging with LinkedIn and having that page. And there's all different levels of support you can have from LinkedIn, free up to really exclusive membership. So, yeah, you absolutely can do it without a personal profile, building your personal profile too much.
Brilliant. Okay, well, if there are no further questions, then I think I'll ask Lucy to end the webinar there, and we look forward to seeing you all again at another one soon. Thanks a lot, everyone.